So, hi there, Misha.
Hi, I'm eating eggplant, which I don't think I've cooked eggplant in 10 years. I don't know why, but it's actually quite tasty.
It's hard to get eggplant right. It can get a bit very flavorless.
Yeah, this is maybe too flavorful. Anyway, I'll stop eating because I know that we're recording this for people to see. But what am I going to do with all the eggplant on my fingers? That's the challenge. Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So we're coming up on the most stressful election in our lifetimes. Hopefully not the final election. And we're coming up and we're finishing the final season of Supernatural. And it's also pretty stressful.
I haven't heard anyone say that yet. Hopefully not the final election of our lifetimes. It's true. Democracy hangs so in the balance that this could well be the last election if things don't go well. Yeah,
I don't
a salient point.
I don't know if how stressful things are getting on Supernatural right now is helping my election anxiety.
Yeah.
Is it escapism or is it more stress? So how are you doing emotionally with both these things competing?
Well, to be honest with you, it's funny, like working on the show, the emotional anxiety of the show, I think for me tends to hinge on what we're shooting. And given that we finished shooting, I'm more overwrought by what's going on in the real world than in our imaginary world.
Yeah, well, you know how it ends, and we don't. So
that's true.
We're just waiting in suspense. Hopefully, I want everything to have a happy ending, the election and Supernatural, but don't spoil anything. So, why is 2020 the most important election of our lifetimes? Just in case anyone doesn't know.
I mean, God, I don't even know where to start. It's like, let me count the ways. I feel like the choice between candidates has never been more stark. And I say that fully aware that this is the second time that Trump has run, and there was a stark contrast between him and Hillary Clinton the first go around. But I think that a lot of people thought that the Trump that was running in 2016 was a showman, and the things he was saying, like, he's not really going to do all of the things that he said he was going to do. He's not really going to try to, seal off the southern border and ban all Muslims from entering the country, and install the most conservative Supreme Court in the past century. He's not really going to try to pass tax cuts for the richest 1/10 of 1% in the country. He's not really going to alienate our allies and form allegiances with the despots like Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un. He's not really going to do those things. He's not really a supporter of white separatists. He's not really as racist as we think. And as it turns out, all of those things came to pass. He really is as bad as we thought. As he told us he was that time around. And so I think that this election is more consequential because now we know it's real. It's not just rhetoric, and it's not just a flight of fancy. We know what we're getting. And with Biden, we're getting somebody who just cares. He's been through the ringer. He lost a child and a wife, and has been in the trenches fighting for Biden, like, healthcare is real and consequential. Access to affordable healthcare, he knows firsthand, is life and death. Donald Trump doesn't know. He has gold toilets. He has no idea. And he has no empathy. And not only that, there's all of these other races across the country, these very, very close Senate races and House races that are absolutely consequential, because if we can shift the balance of power toward a more progressive leadership in various different branches of government, we have a shot at repairing some of the damage that's been done in the last 4 years, and also we have a shot at not making these conservative inroads permanent. As it stands, a lot of people right now who live in LGBTQ households are terrified that marital status is going to go out the door because of this new ultra Supreme Court.
That's my household.
It's terrible to think. It's not just about how resources are being allocated. It's not just about how the government is deciding to spend tax money, or what fraction of our income goes to taxes. It's about the character of the country, whether we're going to be an inclusive country or not, whether we're going to be a country that condemns white supremacy or condones it. And that's what's on the ballot, which I think makes it, honestly, like I have a few friends who've been like reluctant to wade into the political waters because they don't want to alienate people. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Not wading into the political waters right now is to essentially align yourself with evil, in my opinion. Like, to not take a stand here is a moral failing. And by the way, I think a lot of good people are undecided or are Trump supporters because they've been indoctrinated by certain things, or are single issue voters. So I don't condemn people for their political positions, but I certainly want to have a conversation about it. I don't want people to. I think a lot of people are also, like, one of the challenges right now. I've been communicating with fans who have designated themselves as undecided, and one of the challenges right now is that a lot of people are so preoccupied with the fact that they have family members who are sick with COVID, or have lost their jobs due to the pandemic, or their businesses, or are now like single parents who are struggling with schooling 3 or 4 kids while still trying to work from home. They're so preoccupied with all of the shit show that is 2020 that even thinking about what's on the ballot right now is too much. And I get that too. And I would just encourage people to remember that what we decide in the next week is actually going to have a lasting impact, not only on us this year, but on future generations.
Now, you're having an important conversation tomorrow with some surrogates from the Biden campaign, one of them who I think has the last name Biden.
Yeah.
So who are you talking to tomorrow?
We're talking to myself and a couple other central cast members. I know Jared is going to make it. I'm not sure who else is going to be able to make it just because of scheduling issues, but Jared and I for sure are going to be talking with Amy Klobuchar, who was one of not too terribly many presidential candidates recently. We've also talked to Cory Booker and Andrew Yang, which is totally awesome. But tomorrow we're also going to be talking with Ashley Biden, who is Jill and Joe's only biological child that they share together. They have a bigger family, but that's the daughter that they had in common. And I think it's going to be, it's just exciting that this strange little sci-fi show can garner the kind of audience and enthusiasm that warrants interviews with presidential candidates, children, and people who ran for president. It's pretty rad.
I loved seeing how much of a Supernatural fan Cory Booker was. Like, he had some good questions on the big live stream you hosted with him, and MJ Hagar, who I think is a wonderful candidate, and I hope everyone supports her because the Winchesters want you to vote for MJ Hagar.
Yes, they do.
I think, Eric Kripke tweeted recently that Sam and Dean would definitely vote for Biden. You chimed in that they probably legally can't because they're technically dead. But Cass is technically not an American citizen. But I think all of them would find a way, because when has that ever mattered?
At the very least, I think the 3 of them would get in on the phone banking. They even if they can't vote because they're legally dead, or probably in Sam and Dean's case, also felons. By the way, we're also doing we're doing a huge phone banking session tomorrow with a bunch of the Supernatural cast at 3:30, and inviting the entire fandom to join us. The Biden campaign thinks we might break the record for the largest phone bank to date, and we are up to the challenge. So it's me and, I don't know, 15 other cast members are going to be doing this phone banking at 3:30 Pacific. And if anybody wants to join us, we want you, because we want to break a record here.
And when is your chat with Amy and Ashley tomorrow? And
that's going to be in the evening. I think we're going to probably pre-record that and maybe put it up on Friday. So cool. I don't think that that's going to be a live event, but this week we'll be putting that out. So look for it.
And you also have like an actual episode of Supernatural coming out tomorrow, which is a pretty big episode. And then, I mean, all these final episodes are pretty big. Pretty stressful things going on right now in the bunker, just saying. Yeah.
The Winchesters and Cass and Jack are busy trying to save the world, and the actors that portray them are out in the real world trying to do the same here. It's a lot all at once. It's funny because when we were shooting the episodes that are airing this week and next week, actually next week's episode was the last episode that we got in the can before we had to shut down for COVID. Bye. Thanks for stopping by. So it's been a long time since we shot those episodes. But I never imagined when we were shooting 17 and 18, they're sort of 17 and 18 kind of go together as one big continuous episode, that those would also be coinciding with the election and a pandemic that is still raging and ramping up. So it's like all of these dueling apocalypses coming together all at once. It's a lot to manage emotionally.
I think though that, at least for me, Supernatural's actually become more resonant because the way that the Winchesters and Castiel stand up to almost insurmountable odds and unspeakable evil when they're just, two guys and an angel and a cool car. It's very inspiring. And I think Cory Booker even talked about this on his, when he was on the live stream with you guys, about how much this show can really inspire you when it's about like the little guy standing up when the odds seem really tough and when things seem apocalyptically bad.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, it's funny, you mentioned the word escapism earlier, and I think that there's definitely an element of any entertainment like Supernatural that is escapism. But another undercurrent, and that's what you're talking about now, which is it's also about inspiration, but it's also about just speaking to themes that resonate with people who want to be good and want to be inspired. It's like the power of myth. That's one thing that Supernatural taps into, for sure.
And what's it feel like, or what did it feel like on your final days to kind of be saying goodbye to this show and this character you've been with for 12 years? That's longer than most people have had their jobs. It was super bittersweet. I think for all of us, it felt like it was time to, start a new chapter in our lives. But that decision was, a lot. It was easy to make that decision from the distance of a year out when we still had another year of shooting to come. And when we zeroed in on the last day of shooting, it was very emotional. And there were a lot of tears and a lot of heartfelt goodbyes. I think we all, cast and crew alike on Supernatural, we're all aware that we caught lightning in a bottle, and it's not likely to happen again in our lifetimes, that we're going to work on something that has such a great community and such a great fandom that evolves around it, and such a long lasting run. We're not going to
we're not going to have another 15-year run.
I don't
That's
think
not
that
gonna happen.
any shows are going to run 15 years.
No.
This will be my final question. So, and if you can't answer it, that's fine. Once we survive the election, fingers crossed, and once, you know, Supernatural is done as a chapter, can you share at all any projects you have coming up in the future, or is it all hush hush?
No, it's not hush hush. It's actually just I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm actually trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up and what I want to do. And so the answer is it's not a secret. I just don't know.
Same, you know. I was trying to get through, you know, next week, aren't we all?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking, and we will look forward to seeing your chat.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for taking.
we will try and share everything on the Mary Sue to get people phone banking.
Folks, if you could ensure, that would be great. I think the more people we can get to turn out for this phone bank tomorrow, the better.
That sounds super awesome. So thank you. My kids just got home, so I got to go
All right.
feed them.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.